Hi and welcome to Connected Britain 2025. My name's James Page and I'm here on the ACOME group stand with their UK Business Development Manager, Lee Spicer. Lee, lovely to see you as always.
Great to see you.
Good. We're here talking about all sorts of things to do with monetization as a key theme this year and talking about how we get customers as the AltNet story matures, I suppose, from where we've spoken about things in the past. But before we talk a little bit about how the ACOME group can help defend against customer churn, you can't defend against customer churn unless you've got a customer in the first place. So there still are things you can do to support the acquisition process.
Yeah, of course, you're exactly correct. I mean, connecting the customers with fibre is essentially the most important aspect, really. What we've learned during this conference is that the largest operators are losing their risk. We're essentially experiencing the highest churn in areas where, as the incumbent, they don't have fibre. And what they're saying is new entrants are entering that location, they're offering fibre, and then those consumers are moving away from them. So that's causing the highest churn. So exactly, the connecting with fibre is the highest priority at this point. And really, at the moment, with the state of the market in the UK, really it's rural areas, so looking for solutions for rural areas. And actually that's what one of the products we've brought to the conference today is essentially a new process in which you can very effectively roll out fibre to an area, essentially offer the service to consumers, and then when they take up the offer, you can then very quickly connect them.
Yeah, because that's going to be crucial, because those hard to reach last parts of the country that we've talked about for years in trying to get to, has always been that they're difficult to monetize, it's expensive to go and get them, there's not as many customers to get on. So the quicker you can start getting that money back in, the better.
Exactly, yeah. Certainly, in order to start receiving, in order to monetize your network, the operators really need to look at churn. And really, in the keynote that we're talking about today, we're looking at kind of three areas. We're looking at connecting, which we spoke about. We're looking at how do you handle downtime, and we're looking at some of the other factors that affect whether or not consumers move away from you. Things like their experience essentially of the connection.
So that's really important, isn't it? It's your first touch point with the customer is when you've got them on board, but now someone's going to come out to actually make that connection. So if that goes wrong from the start, it's not a good place. So how does ACOME fit into that?
Exactly. I mean, it's interesting. If you look on Trustpilot, actually, it's the high churn is directly correlated to low Trustpilot scores. So actually, if you're a consumer out there and you look at an operator and they have a bad Trustpilot score, you might have an idea of kind of the experience you're going to receive, which is interesting. Now, actually, if you look at then what those Trustpilot scores, what people are saying, what they're saying is that they have a bad experience when they're connected. And what does that look like? It looks like they have multiple boxes outside. It looks like they have loads of people come and connect them. Maybe it's a mess installation. Maybe they have the connection in the wrong place. So what we brought to the conference today is a couple of solutions to address that. We've got things like very, very neat solutions to reduce the amount of boxes that are on the outside walls, because if you walk around, you can see a lot of houses now have multiple installations.
Especially if they're redundant boxes with wires that are not looking in the right place, it's very untidy.
Exactly. So what consumers want is they want nice and easy solutions, and they also want to have their connection in the right place. And so we offer solutions like the discrete kit, where the consumer is able to choose where it is. Now that's from the consumer point of view. From the operator point of view, what they need to do is they need to reduce their cost of connecting. So what we've also brought to the market at this conference is a one installer solution, where you don't have multiple installers come and install one user, one consumer. You have just the single installer.
Great. So that would seem to work. I know from recent experiences of changing supply myself. But so we've got them. We've had a good experience. So we're all connected and we're ready to go. I suppose one of the biggest issues that then happens is downtime and people becoming less resilient to it and less likely to put up with a bad connection.
Exactly. And again, if you look at Trustpilot and look at some of the reasons that people might move away from their incumbent kind of operator, their ISP, is things like downtime. That's increasingly becoming a factor. Now you've got things like critical network infrastructure, where you kind of measure how long you're down, how much downtime you have, and increasingly the market is moving towards that. Now, what does that mean? Well, what are the kind of factors that cause downtime? It's things like storms, environmental issues. And actually, if you look at the last few years, in 23, 24, there was the most amount of storms in the last few decades. Just as one example, Storm Aowen, which I think downed 500 poles, and the amount of consumers that we know were downed is incredible. And actually, those are the reasons that will cause consumers to move. So what we brought to the conference are solutions to enable the operators to very quickly get those consumers back on. We brought products like the MBO. This is kind of quite famous for us now. There's tens, if not hundreds of thousands in the market now. And what we advocate for is operators who actually have a stock of these. Then when these kind of, environmental issues occur, they're able to very quickly and effectively go out and reconnect those consumers and maintain that service and reduce that downtime. And again, reduce churn.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think if the consumer's sense of resilience to downtime at all is going, at least one way you can start to get them back is by getting them back as quickly as possible once they've got.
Exactly. So again, I think the summary of this whole thing is what you need to reduce churn is good service. If you have bad service, you're going to have high churn. So you need really good service, and we brought the products to the conference today to talk about how you can address those issues.
Fantastic. Well, look, it's a very busy stand, so we appreciate you giving us some time to go through it, but it's a really interesting topic, and we hope lots of people are listening to the keynote this afternoon. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.